Everyone loves Bill Gates for being rich. A lot of people like Jack Ma of Alibaba for the empire he built in China. Jeff Bezos of Amazon is known to be the world's richest man. Why am I talking about this? These personalities have actually influenced our lives, isn't it? The reason being, they are rich. They have built business empires. Are you someone wanting to build such a business empire? It's important to realize that they have started from ground zero. What they did is things that actually worked right. If you're someone wanting to start a business, this one is for you. Let's go. Hi and hello. Welcome to Amaze TV. Today, I'm going to help you with 5 killing steps on how to actually start a business. A lot of entrepreneurs will keep saying that there is no right strategy for it. Absolutely right. You don't have a success mantra. What's important is to be situational and make decisions based on the situation. But sometimes, fundamentally, if you do few things right, you can actually launch a great business. This will in fact avoid you from making a financial or a time loss. So it's important that you watch till the end of this video to understand what are those 5 important steps. Before we get into this, make sure that you subscribe to Amaze TV so that you don't miss any latest updates. How can you start a business? A lot of people venture into different things not knowing the nuances of it. Listing down what are your strengths. If you do not know your own SWOT, it's very difficult for you to launch a business. What's important is to know what is your domain expertise. Say for example, if you are a mathematician, you can't start a software product company. Doesn't mean you can't. But at the same time, it's important that you as a mathematician worked for some time in that field won't be able to understand the nuances in this industry. Probably you might be someone who can code well and also be able to come with a lot of latest innovation in your product. But what's important is to have the real work experience so that you understand how the consumer behaves with the product features enhancement or the change in roadmap. So it's very important that you understand what are your SWOTs. List down your top 3 strengths. List down what are your weaknesses and see the opportunities aligning with the strengths and weaknesses, and most importantly, see what are the challenges you see, that is the threats around you, be it a financial threat or probably trying out a business, what could be an environmental or a social threat. This is the way you can actually start your business launch. So number 1 is doing a SWOT analysis. Now that you have done the SWOT analysis, before you get into a business launch, it's very important that you realize what are the social problems you can actually resolve. What environmental problems you think exist in the world and you can actually address through your business, and what moral responsibility you will be able to cover through your business. So it's very important that you list down what are the problems today, be it any country, any region, any place for that matter. It's important that you start focusing on these 3 parameters of how you can solve these problems through your businesses. That's how you can actually get into the right strategy of launching a business. Unless you don't have a cost to it, that is the purpose of doing a business. If you're running behind just money, that is, if you launch a business just for the sake of making money, you will definitely not be successful. So it's very important that you think of this business in the longer term. So you should have a purpose to it. That purpose should be about solving a problem in the society, social, moral, or environmental cause. So this is the second step in coming up with a business launch plan. Step 3, the most crucial step, identifying what are the things that you require. Yes, now that you have done SWOT analysis, you probably understood what problems you see around yourself, that is your place, your society, your community, your country, morally, socially, environmentally, and after doing that, you will probably have an idea, okay, this is going to be my alignment. I say for instance, I'm strong at coaching someone, that is life coaching or mentoring. I should probably focus on social problems like someone ending their life so easily, out of anxiety, out of depression. So you can start thinking about a business that is going to align with your strength and a problem that is existing in the society. It becomes a lot easier for you to draw up a plan. So when we talk about this 3rd crucial step, what are the things that you require in order to get into a business launch? Number 1 is finances. You will have to know how much finance do you actually require to launch a business. You will have to draw up at least a 12-month business projections on what finance you require, what capital you will have to make in order to launch a business. Number 2 is manpower. At the start of a business, sometimes you may start individually, but definitely you would require a couple of resources to start with to support your business get into the next level. So it's important for you to list down how much manpower would you require and what would be the cost of that manpower too. The next thing is the knowledge in this critical component. Unless you have sufficient knowledge or people with sufficient knowledge in the industry you're looking at or in the business nature you're looking at, it's going to be very difficult for you to launch a business. You can't run a one-man show any day. It's very important that you have people with you who are highly knowledgeable in the industry or the business nature you try to get into. Number 4 is the technology. So, for example, I spoke about life coaching and being able to help personal individuals or corporate individuals, in both cases, who wants to achieve personal and professional success. So there are also technology support that you would actually require to be able to do it. If you're someone who is wanting to have a worldwide coverage through your services, then you would certainly require platforms that is going to help you with such engagement or facilitation sessions. And in order to do it, remember that you list down what are the technological support you require and what could be the cost of it and how are you going to really do it in terms of the infrastructure. And the last thing is the space. If you're looking to launch your business in a higher vicinity, it's very important that you define how much space would you require. Let's say you want to get into a distribution business. It's very important that you understand a warehouse is going to be a primary requirement to be able to stock down your goods so that your distribution or the supply chain management works optimally well. So it's important that you define how much space would you require and what would be the cost behind that. So these are the 5 things that you will have to take care, that is the resources that you require to launch this business. This leads to the next step, which is the research, that is to decide if this business is right for me to go ahead with. There are 2 levels of research that you can do. Firstly is the primary research. When we talk about the primary research, it's important for you to know who are the competitors currently existing in the market. Like I mentioned, if you are wanting to take a distribution channel or a distribution business, it's important that you actually figure out who are the companies already existing in the market, in that industry, in that geography. So by doing analysis on who are your competitors or who could be your competitors, it's going to be easier for you to know what is their business strategy and how they actually launch the business, how they're able to survive, how they're being profitable or being an industry leader. And of course, you will have to focus on the financial background of such competitors or overall as an industry. If you're someone wanting to get into manufacturing of smartphones, for instance, it's very important that you understand what is the financial background of your competitors. If the industry players are really financially strong, it's going to be very hard for you to run a business in such an industry. So it's very important you understand what is their financial background, what capacities do they have, can they actually kill your business while you launch it? Do you really think you can actually override them in terms of branding, in terms of manufacturing capacities, in terms of hiring greater talent? These are the ways you will have to understand what could be the financial background that you require, and would you actually be able to shell out that money, probably borrow from someone, or you try investing out of the savings you have had. So it's important to understand the financial background of an industry or a business in particular. And the last thing in this primary research would be to understand the prospects in the future. You can't think about a business that is actually running well today. If you are thinking in those lines, then it is about money-minded perspective. But I would always suggest to look at a business opportunity which will actually stand for at least 10 to 15 years from now. And that means that you will have to analyze what are the future prospects of this industry or the business you are trying to choose. Only when you are able to understand the future prospects, you can look at a longer term plan. And only when you have a longer term plan, there is going to be sustainability. And that sustainability will help you diversify with other business verticals too. Remember, you may think of one business area, but slowly you may also be able to gain expertise in something else and you can actually diversify into it. So it's very important that you think of a sustainable business for a longer run, and by doing analysis on future prospects in the industry or the business, you will be able to make a right decision. So this is the first level of research. And the secondary research is about market share. Say for instance, you want to venture into FMCG manufacturing or distribution. There are a few brands always work on market shares, and their targets will basically be on market shares rather than revenues. And remember, market shares can actually fluctuate based on what promotions you make. So try analyzing how market shares actually fluctuate, how a brand is able to take over the other, and why does this market behavior change. You will have to realize that market share is going to be a key in few industries. So it's important that you do that research, see what businesses actually have higher market share and where do you see the gaps and how you can actually conquer that territory. There is another way you can do secondary research is to understand the industry problems. You can take, for example, the telecom industry in India. Telecom industry in India is undergoing a lot of consolidation, and we have seen a lot of players in the telecom industry have been chucked out. Same way in smartphone industry, we had n number of brands in India like the Micromax, the Carbons, or Xylo. There were so many phone companies in India, but today you could see only few companies like MI, that is Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, probably Samsung, Sony. So this is how the industry actually takes shape. So it's for you to understand how the industry behavior is. Are you really able to see visibility of a new launch happening, and will the existing players allow you to actually be present in the industry? So that's the way you can actually be cautioned that yes, this business will work or will not work. Last but not least is the investors for support. This is another important parameter that you will have to consider before launching a business. There are a lot of investors available, angel investors or venture capitalists who are ready to invest on startups. But what's important is for you to understand how long you can sustain such investors coming from outside. Will you really be in a position to break even or probably start gaining profits to be able to be self-sufficient? You can't rely on outside funding. You never know, sometimes businesses might not flourish or not be profitable. And if you aren't profitable as a company, investors wouldn't show interest, or probably your value of the company isn't multifolding, then it's a question of, is it really worth investing in you? So it's very important that you realize if the business idea you have can actually gain investors' attraction. So these are the two levels of research you will have to do after doing SWOT analysis as well as understanding the problems in the society. Now with doing these four things, the final step is you have a business in place. You have the confidence that these are the steps that I have to take. These are the strategies I can deploy with. The time has now come for you to decide what is your vision. Let's start with what your goals would be in the next 6 months, what your goal will be in the next 2 years. So set goals for each of this period. Once you set your goals, go for the longer term vision, that is called the mission. So what you want to achieve by doing this business. Finally comes the purpose, what we spoke about in point 2. If your purpose is to solve a social problem, align your business strategy to your social problem, and that social problem will take you along the long run. This is going to be a clean slate of how you can professionally start a business, and this business strategy will definitely work if you're able to do it the right order, the right time, and with right judgment. Good luck to you guys. I wish to see you again in the next video. Cheers.